You are listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, presented by Richard A. Bockshall, in which I chronicle my life and attempts to become a professional writer by, doing some writing daily, hopefully. Hello and welcome to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. It's Wednesday the 29th of May and this is my 36th podcast. Isn't that absolutely crazy? And I'm doing a weird thing today. I'm recording it on my phone, but I am still doing a live stream at the same time, although we are towards the end of the live stream. I have just finished writing the first draft of my short story, which is a Bill Doctor Who crossover. It's called Premonitions and it's largely based around the events in the Series 1, the Christopher Eccleston Series 1 Doctor Who story, Father's Day, about the death of Rose Tyler's father, Pete. And it's just about the police who get involved in it. And it's quite nice. I've watched the episode. There's nothing in the story that contradicts what happens in the episode. But it's quite nice and timey-wimey, as they would say in Doctor Who. So I've just finished that. This is going to be interesting because I'm away for the next 6 days. I'm in China. Now, sometimes it's quite difficult to do a podcast in China, so my intention is to do a podcast every day that I'm there. Tomorrow's will be from home because I'll do it before I leave. But the 5 days the 4 days in the middle where I'm in China, it could be tricky to break the Great Chinese Firewall, but we shall see. But that's my intention, to do a podcast every day. But if for some reason I can't, I will be back on Tuesday the 4th, I think will be the next day that I can come in. So basically I intend to edit my short story and that will go out on my website in June. I'm going to try and do one short story in part of this crossover series each month. So I've written the June one and I now don't need to think about it until towards the end of the month for the July one. And it doesn't matter when I write it, as long as I finish it in the relevant month. Anyway, so that's that. I'm going to talk about quickly today. I just want to talk about how good wonderful customer service is. So this will be of no help to anybody unless you live very close to me. But I've made a very conscious effort recently not to buy things from Amazon. I don't like the way they treat their staff. I don't like the fact that they are, they're immune from paying, or they've managed to find a way of being immune from paying tax. And yes, you can save a bit of money through Amazon, but I'm at the point in my life where I'd rather spend a little bit more money and have good service. There's a couple of things that have made me think that. So the last thing I bought from Amazon was I bought a Babylon 5 Blu-ray box set that was released, and they gave me, and I pre-ordered it ages in advance, which can be problematic when I'm away a lot, but it just so happened that the day it was due to be delivered, I was at home. I was going away the next day, but I was at home. And so I waited for it. And I waited for it, and I waited for it, and then I got an email saying that they'd attempted to deliver it, but there was nobody home. And I'm sat where I am. You can't see this, but the door you can see behind me if you're watching the live, the live video, just on the other side of that door that I'm pointing at now is my front door. That's the door they would have had to knock on to tell me that the parcel arrived. They didn't. I also have a doorbell. They didn't use that either. In short, I don't believe they properly attempted to deliver that delivery. And I phoned them up and said, look, I've been waiting all day. They have not knocked on my door. Can you please make sure it's delivered today? And if you don't attempt to re-deliver it. I don't want it. And in the end, they didn't re-deliver it, and I just got a refund, and I ended up buying it from HMV, which is proving to be not as good as I was hoping it would be either, but we won't talk about that. Anyway, so I made a decision not to buy anything more from Amazon, and recently, I say recently, it's probably been there almost a year now, but the town I live in, a little town in the Midlands called Daventry, hasn't had a bookshop for years, and then last year, I'm not quite sure when, because it took me quite a long time to notice it was there, a bookshop called Suddenly opened up on a street in the town, and it was several months before I discovered it, but when I did discover, and it was this year that I discovered it, so they'd been open a few months before I realised they were there, but once I did, I decided, you know what, I've got a bookshop in town, why on earth would I ever buy any books from Amazon again? And I've stuck to that. The only books I will ever buy from Amazon will be my friend Tani's books, the Bow Street Society books, because she releases them through Amazon, so, not going to cut off my nose to spite my face, I have to buy those through there, and if there's anything I can only buy through Amazon, I will allow myself to. But I'm no longer a member of Prime, and I haven't bought a single item from Amazon this year, and we're towards the end of May now, so that's pretty good. Now, one of the things I started during lockdown was I started reading Terry Pratchett's book series, Discworld, and I bought the first 5 books, and a few years back they released these beautiful hardback editions of all of the books. Now, there are 40 of these books, and I bought the first 5, and I suddenly thought, you know what, I want the rest of these, and I started looking for them, and there were a couple that were close to being out of print. You know, a lot of the distributors only had a few copies left, and I thought, I need to do this now, because if I don't, there's going to be some go out of print, and I will be really annoyed with the fact. And rather than buy them through Amazon, which would have been a little bit cheaper, I bought them through Suddenly Books. And what I did was I said to them, well, let's do it in 2 batches. So I gave them a list of 16, which was the first batch, and a list of 15, which was the second batch. And they have been superb. A handful of the books, well, actually, no, quite a large proportion of the books were arriving into them damaged, and they weren't standing for it. They sent them back. And there's one book, I think Eric, which is the very short Discworld book. I think they ordered 5 copies before they got one that was in good condition. The rest, because they're nice hardbacks, they had damages to the cover or bends or scrapes or scratches, and literally that book they ordered 5 copies of for me before they got one that was in a condition. It wasn't even me being demanding, they wanted it to be right for me, so they ordered that many and sent the others back until, you know, copies in a decent condition arrived. Their service has been absolutely superb. They've looked after me. I've bought these 31 books through them. I regularly buy other books through them as well. I bought other books in the series, 1 or 2 here and there, but it was when I realised, I could miss the last few if I don't get a move on and order them quickly, that made me decide to order them pretty much in the same month. So I've done them good business, but they have really looked after me. Their communication about what's available, what's arrived, what's the problems with certain books has been absolutely superb. So if you are in the Midlands and you want to go to a good bookshop, go to Suddenly Books in Daventry. I'm going to get you their website. He says suddenly, can't even type. I still can't type. I've written in sun, not sun. So suddenlybookshop.com. They are wonderful, great customer service. They have crafty bits in there as well. They sell wool and other bits and pieces. They have book clubs a couple of times a month. They are absolutely superb, and they totally have my loyalty now, and I will not be buying books elsewhere unless, as I said, the caveat is that I can only, if it's somewhere I can only buy them, like Tani's books, the Bow Street Society books, which are released directly through KDP and as such don't have an ISBN. But anyway, so that's me for today. No more real updates on the writing. I'm basically going to work on my cover letter over the next few days. I emailed my synopsis to Tani, and she's gone through it and says it looks okay. So we are slowly but surely getting closer to doing a submission. I will keep you up to date. So hopefully I'll be able to do the podcast from China, but if not, I'll see you tomorrow because I can do my last one from the UK. And then, as I say, there's a chance I might disappear until the 4th. Hopefully not, but we shall see. We shall see what happens. Thank you for listening. Take care. Goodbye. You have been listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, presented by Richard A. Boxall. Thank you for tuning in to my random ramblings, and if you'd like to know more about me or my projects, visit my link tree at linktr.ee/Richard Writes, capital R, capital W. Thank you for listening.